The 2023 World Championships has ended and the 2024 season has already begun. Because of personal reasons I cannot go to regionals or international championships, so I just have to do it with the locals and the Utrecht regional. But there is one tournament that I want to try and qualify in, and that was the Dutch VGC Tryouts Cup. The Victory Road World Cup is one of the biggest tournaments with the best players from each country, and it sure is a high skill level. I have been grinding since the beginning of September and try to get a place in Team Netherlands to participate in the Victory Road World Cup 2023. I will be covering my tryout matches, tournaments I participated in, and I will highlight the teams that I used. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video and see if I make it in the Team Netherlands. It was the 13th of August and the manager of the Netherlands has announced that the World Cup tryout starts. We had to fill in an interest form that I made super serious, but I also being totally honest, I said there were for sure better players than me, but my growth in VGC is going so fast that I might have a chance of making it in the team. Switzerland also wanted to play friendly against us and I was one of the 22 people who had interest, but sadly they didn't choose me. This was the worst case scenario, but I really wanted to show what I've got in me against Switzerland. The next day I participated in the Ketchum Cup again, just like last video, which is like 1 month ago, I don't know. I still had most Pokemons from last team, but I tried Federico Campos team from Worlds 2023. This was going incredibly well, like last tours, and even made another top cut. If you wanna see the team report, you can check it in the link in the description. It really helped me practice with this team. The idea was just to lead Iron Hands with Cresselia and set up Trick Room for Ursaluna. Ursaluna was one of the biggest threats in Regulation D because of its Guts ability and Facade. You deal 140 damage with Step Facade and even got a 1.5 times boost from Guts, and it has an incredibly high attack stat. This helped me get through Top Cut, where I lost to White Guard Pelipper. All with all, good practice with the team, and now I need to practice on Showdown to perfect this team, to my liking, but that was a problem. I tried the same team with Rivalp Dragonite. This was also a team that made top 8 in Worlds, and it was so good because you can run Protect on the Dragonite. I made it to 1702 Elo in Regulation D ladder with this team, and that was huge for me. I can remember when I joined the Dutch VGC Discord and I ended like 12,000 in the global challenge and I couldn't make it out of 1300 Elo in Showdown. But yeah, look what I was cooking. Absolute garbage. Terra Fighting Chien Pao, Vital Spirit Annihilate. What was I thinking? So to just hit 1700 Elo in that little time was so good. As I began team building, I played too much Showdown for my liking, but the grind didn't stop for this. I tried Torkoal on the team, but that didn't work out. And that is where the real shit happens, because I make teams like this. Looking back at it, I felt I was like on drugs or something. But you can guess that this didn't work out as well. Every day I was testing my main team, like the one I had on Ketchum Cup with Ursaluna. And I tried to put all the Pokemons on the team. That was where Landorus Incarnate Form came in. See, with Landorus Incarnate Form you can run Life Orb and not take damage from it because of his sheer force ability and still take the 1.3 boost from the Life Orb. This was a good Pokemon and it had a really good typing. I ran Earth Power and Sludge Bomb on it with Taunt and Protect, and it had Terra Poison. With Fruttermane and Speed Controller you can lead Fruttermane and Landorus, and that can mean for some serious trouble. Now let's see the results, and alright, that didn't work out very well. I being outplayed on the games I lost, and yes, that means the team was not made out for me. It was still good, I just didn't have time to train with this specific sets. It was a few days later and I need to act fast. I tried Chiyu further and failed. I tried Indy the Armor Rouge, will screw that team as well. There's someone who is a good friend of mine named KD VGC who absolutely destroys ladder with his lyrical team. But I just couldn't get the hang of it. I made it even worse by putting Sableye on the team and Galarian Moltres, and this was the peak of shit team building. But then I finally got the team where I will play the tryouts in. So first of all, Cresselia. This Cresselia runs Moonblast, Helping Hand, Lunar Blessing and Trick Room. It had safety goggles for the Among Us and it had Terra Fairy for defensive coverage. This was genuinely one of the best Trick Room setups in the game. Well, I had a partner and that was Iron Hands, but I found it hard in some matchups to use. For example, in Tornadus matchups, I cannot fake out the Tornadus because of Cover Cloak and they will just taunt me. And then I have to play around this, I cannot set up Trick Room. So we have to do something else. Also, you can have Terra Ghost Chiyu and Fruttermane, and that will just destroy you by putting Shadow Ball and Overheat on it, and that will kill the Cresselia, and you need to set up Trick Room for Ursaluna. I went back to my old days and paired Among Us with Cresselia. This Pokemon can do Rage Powder and drag all the pivot attacks from Cresselia, and so she can set up Trick Room. Not only that, but if Among Us survives survives, he can do another rage power to safely swap in Ursaluna to bring in the next bomb. And it can even spore opponents, so Ursaluna can swap in safely. With Helping Hand you can do some serious damage already, and if you do a bulk up you get even more bulkier. There's nothing much to say about this Ursaluna Pokemon, other than it's really weak to Intimidate, Arcanine and Landorus. It was also very weak to grassy terrain, and that's just because Earthquake does half damage. It does a lot of damage, but just not enough to one-hit KO things. My next Pokemon was Urshifu, and if you saw the last video, you can see how that went. But this time I had a Landorus Therian on my own with Choice Scarf. This wasn't Choice Scarf, so it outspeeds most things and does major damage. This allows me not only to play Trick Room, but also to play Hyper Offense outside of Trick Room. That brings me to my next Pokemon, Terra Grass Frutamane. This Pokemon was just so broken already, and I didn't have speed boost because I rather have the special attack boost. Energy Ball and Terra Grass was such a nice counter for Urshifu Rapid Strike since it was so common in Regulation D. So this was the team. I will first play the Maustour with it and see how good it actually is. First game I played against Joa. He had a nice team with Choice Specs, Frutamane and Rhyhorn Chi-Yu. I hated this matchup because I haven't properly found a solution for it, but I won at the end. Next game was against Chia, and he had the nerves to go for Dondozo with Fissure. He even tried it in a match without success. Luckily for me, this match wasn't that hard. The next game was against Celia, and of course I lose game 1, because it was too hyper offensive. But in game 2 and 3, I tried something different. I tried to put Cresselia as a supporting point with Helping Hand, and the Intimidate drop doesn't even matter that much. And it won me both games. One with Landorus and one with Urshifu. This was going perfect because I was now 3-0 up. Is this gonna be the perfect one? We're gonna find out because next match I played against a pro named Red Silver. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know who he was before the game, but apparently he was top 16 in Worlds of 2022. He had an interesting team of Iron Moth, Grimmsnarl, Gonago, Amoonguss, Iron Hands and Gyarados. A lot of support mons, and it is also a good hyper offense, but it was a unique team. I lost the first game because I tried to play Trick Room, but that didn't work out. Time to game and get into hyper offensive side of my team. With game 2 I won with only 3 Pokemon and it was me who won game 3 as well. I've got some messages from the Dutch VGC Discord that I have beaten Hippolyte. As I said, I didn't know who he was before the game, so this was a huge confidence boost. This was another proof that I could make the team because the manager of the team, Jenai, actually organizes the Maustour Tournament. Not only did I get 4-0, I actually won the fields in the Maustour Swiss round by a whopping 6-0 score. It didn't last long though. I got out of the tournament at the top 8, where I lose 2-1 to Matt. What a shame. I played so well in this tournament and I was just chilling with Spotify on. Usually I take my tournaments very seriously, but I was just vibing to Spotify on the background and just chilling. Wasn't really disappointed, because this team that I built worked out pretty well. But there was one problem. Regulation E. September 8th. There was a tournament announced where the Tryouts player will play against each other in 5 Swiss rounds. No top cut, but it was Regulation E. This was the perfect chance for me to see what I've got, and if I place first, I might have a chance of making it in the team. But that was September 16th. Before the tournament, there was something else announced by Bars. He said that we have to play against each other in scramble games. Most games were in Regulation E, since Regulation E wasn't on Showdown yet because the DLC releases on September 13th. This was the perfect opportunity to play against all the tryout players in Regulation D, where I practiced the most with this team. I played some matches in Regulation D and Regulation E. I played 13 matches in total, the most of everyone. I will not highlight every match, but there was one game I wanna highlight. I just could not resist to not show it. It was against Reiki VGC. One of the matches that I wanna show is against Reiki VGC. He's one heck of a good player, so I knew this was gonna be stressful. As you can see, I had to make a hard read on Amoonguss because his Landorus has taunt, while I go for a Terra Blast flying and knock out the Frutamane. Rage Powder and Terra Bridge, but it was bait. I swapped in my own Urshifu to resist the Wicked Blow, and then do a Pollen Puff to break my opposing Urshifu's sash. I double switched here to prevent taking damage from Earth Power and I survived a Wicked Blow, which I didn't calc for, but someone else did for me. I had to make an incredibly hard read next turn because I had to double whip on the Landorus incarnate form. I played very well here, as you can see. Next turn I just did a Protect and Sucker Punch and switched in Amoonguss for the Wood Hammer. Next I swapped in Landorus for the Intimidate cycle and you could just Rage Powder my way through the game. It was a bit cheap not to knock out Urshifu with Moonblast, but oh well. As you can see, it really worked out well and it won me game 1. This game was so intense and it was game 1. So one more win and I win against Reiki VGC. On to game 2 and we already start off with a Protect from Urshifu. Sure, it is not the most effective way to protect against an Urshifu, but this time it has to make sense because I go for Wigaboom. He goes for U-turn to swap in the Hisuian Arcanine, and I swap into my Fruttermane. I had to make a swap here into Renderus for the Intimidate drop, but that was a huge mistake, as he goes for Renderus with a Wicked Blow and killing me. This was a frustrating moment, because I could have just done a Moonburst and Rage Powder. And like I said, you shouldn't protect against opposing Urshifus, but I was stupid and did it anyway, and paid the price. Reiki Shield is full power here and defeats my Fruttermane. The only thing that I can possibly do here is go for Terra Dark and do a Rage Powder, and that takes care of 2 Pokemon. But if I remember correctly, that Arcanine has Extreme Speed, so that takes care of all of my problems. And I lost the second game. So game 3 starts and I lead with Amoonguss and Renderus, and I had to switch out for the Terra, but I can definitely tell this was one of the hardest games to play. I had to play it safe while making hard reads in the end. I sport the Renderus and didn't sport the Wigaboom because it's a grass type. In my opinion, I almost played the game perfect. Switched in and out on turns I had to switch in and out, get the Intimidate drops when needed, etc. Slowly but steady I defeated Reiki, his Pokemon, and it was such a hard game, but I won in the end. I want to thank you Reiki for this game, and like I said, Reiki is such a good player and defeating him felt so good and gave me a confidence boost. I wanted to show this game in particular because I think this is one of the best games I've played in the Scrambles. I mean, the other games were also good, but this one was just special for me. I even defeated Sander. Who would have thought that? Yeah, it was with some luck, it was with hacks. I can understand that because I had Voxlite flinches and Sander wasn't happy about it. There's also one guy who's becoming a very good friend of mine, and that one was Dutch VGC. Maybe this video goes live after the World Cup started, but he played against me with a Psy spam team, and it was, yes you guessed it, indeed the Armor Rouge. And I couldn't defeat it, I just simply couldn't. He is so high on ladder with it. I think he is now in Regulation E. I think he's in the top 10. Like 1800 ELO, and it's the beginning of Regulation E. Yeah, it's 2 weeks in, so he's really one of the best players to play side spam. He's really, it's the really cool team. We made some memes about it, but it's a really good team. Yeah, it wasn't a shame to lose to him. He's just so good. I have not officially won him in a local or in tournament, so that will happen someday, I hope. But yeah, it was really cool to play against him, and as you can see, he made it into the team, so GG's to him. And yeah, well, 1 year, I think he's 1.5 years in, and he's already made a team. Like that's some really good stuff there. So GG's to Dutch VGC. I just want to point that out. With the scrambles being done, I can safely say I played the most games with a whopping 13 games in the end. Sure, my win-loss ratio was a bit bad, but there were so many good players. There was one more test. I had to play the Dutch VGC Tryouts Cup, where there was 5 Swiss rounds and no top cut. Placing high in this tournament was crucial, so I better had to make the best of it. The first game was against Jenai and I lost 2-1, so off to a bad start. But the next game was against Nick Holmer and I played very well, but not well enough. I still lost 2-1 and that means that I'm now 2-0 and in a flipping Tryouts tour. Speaking about that, encore to see what you are capable of. Dropping only says something about your mentality, so I didn't drop at all. But it does mean that I win the next game because of a bye. The next game was against Queen Kara 2004. And I won 2-1, so I'm back at 2-2. The very last game I played against Eptin, a player who qualified for Worlds this year. I knew it was a hard match, but I won 2-0 and that means I ended 4th place with a 3-2 record. An incredible turnaround. From 0-2 to 3-2, even though Encore VGC left, I might have won for him. And to be honest, if he shouldn't have left. It was September 17th. It was the day to hear who finally made the team, and I gotta say I was very excited. Did I make the team or not? Did I make the team or didn't I? But the truth was that I didn't make the team. It was Sven, Nick, Sander, Reiki, Kilian, Eptin, Liam, Timo, Matthäus, Jenai, Robbie and Ivar who made the team. Not only based on the tryouts, but also based on the tournament results past season. I had just 2 locals and I didn't end very high. It was my first 2 locals as well. So the dream is over and no World Cup for me this year. Although there's no World Cup for me, I will totally support Team Netherlands from behind the scenes and on the journey to glory. I'm not mad or sad about anything that I didn't make the team. It is just too early to me. And to be honest, if I look at the hard reality, I'm just not that good enough. So yeah, I definitely need more experience. I plan to go next year on regionals. I hope I can go to Utrecht. Yeah, regionals are a bit of a tough one for me because of personal reasons I can't go to regionals, but I can go to locals to get some results in and see. Oh, maybe I win one. I don't know. I don't think so. But when my consistency is going better, when I have more consistency in tournaments, like making top cut like every tournament, getting top 4 every tournament, that will really see from, oh, he can do it. Because the Netherlands is like a really good nation in terms of VGC. We're growing really fast. I want to thank the Dutch managers AJ and Jenny for letting me play the tryouts, and it was really fun. It was a really good experience. So I grind so much, and to be honest, when I'm making this video, I'm a little bit backing off, so that's why it's taking a while. So yeah, and as I'm currently making this video, I'm playing against Belgium in a friendly for the Netherlands, so that's some World Cup experience. But as I also made this video, yeah, update, I didn't do well. It was my worst best of 3. Yeah, so but now it's going better. I will give a quick shout out to KD VGC. I also have him in the video. You know who he is. His channel is in the description if you wanna see it. He sometimes makes a cool video, and yeah, that's it. I wanna also thank Sander and Ivar because they really helped me out with team building, and yeah, they're just great guys. And I can just, when I'm feeling down or something, or you can just talk to them and hey, how's it going, and you can just have a nice chat. I think that's lovely about this community. Like if you join the Discord, you can make some friends, and then just hey, what's up, and we even getting calls nowadays, which I thought I never happened to me. So I'm really happy. Anyway, this is Robstar-Z. I will see you next video, whenever that is. I'm currently in the college league, so maybe a video about that. I'm also going to participate in a draft league on Showdown. Maybe I will make a video about that, but yeah, I don't know. Bye bye.